All right, everybody. This is not going to be a long stream. Just make sure that we're connected and all that here. Looks like it. All right, everybody. So I guess there's a trail here that goes out kind of in the middle of nowhere, and we got some time to kill, so I figured we'll go take a look at this real quick. I've never been on this one. And I know I can't do the whole thing because there's reports on like Onyx that I guess like 3 miles in it gets so bad, or it gets so tight that you can't fit anything wider than a Jeep down it. So I'm not looking to scratch the side of my truck up on a bunch of trees. So we'll just go down a little bit just for the hell of it, because I don't know if what we're gonna be dealing with severe weather later on tonight or not, or what. So I do have a stream scheduled for later on, but a bunch of aggressive drivers out here today. My God, frickin' Sunday people. So, like I said, I've never been over here, and I'm sure there's locals that are going to come in and tell me I'm doing this wrong and blah, blah, blah. I've never been out here. This is not a Jeep trail by any means. It's just a trail. But I need to figure out what's wide enough that we can do, because this is a full-size pickup. So, we can't... Is this a riverbed? I think I want to go over here. So, you know, full-size pickup, so I can only do so much here. You know. So this is, it's marked as, let's see, main road used to access many trailheads, campsites, only bathrooms are at lake, blah, blah, blah. The first half is sandy, the second half is clay. Traversed in any four-wheel drive, hundreds of primitive campsites, whatever. It's on the map, and it looks wide enough, so we'll just go down it for the hell of it. Not really looking to do any serious jeeping here, just trying to see what the hell we got out here. I think this is mostly like an off-highway vehicle trail, but it looks like you can fit a vehicle down it, and there's really no governing of it. So, of course, freaking dead zone right there. Go figure. It did rain last night in the area. Not much, but it did rain a little bit. So hopefully that should keep a lot of this dust down. But I'm not feeling like airing the tires down today. Ooh, this is real soft. Now we're gonna put this thing in four-wheel drive. I have a feeling this is a lot sandier than it looks. I don't know how much we're gonna want to go down this. Honestly, this might go to hell. This very well might go to hell. Sand can get real nasty out here. So the problem with sand is it doesn't look like it's wet. Well, I mean, it looks wet, but it doesn't look like it's nasty, and you're gonna get you stuck, and then all of a sudden you're starting to get stuck. Especially a lot of this is kind of clay. This all looks like it's definitely doable in two-wheel drive, but I will tell you a lesson that I learned many years ago, and it's a lesson that I've learned several times, and I'll probably learn it several more times. When you're doing any sort of difficult terrain driving, it's better to just put it in four-wheel drive before you need it, because it's a hell of a lot, it makes a hell of a lot more sense to have it in four-wheel drive and not get stuck versus have it in two-wheel drive and get stuck and then be so stuck that your four-wheel drive ain't gonna get you out of it. This is pretty dry. This is just a gravel road now, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in two-wheel. But there's a lot of like campsites out here. You know, I tell you what, this would be a good place for like storm chasers and stuff. I'm gonna mark this on the map, guys, because we could come out here and watch storms roll in and stuff, and I guarantee you there won't be any other chasers out here because nobody else has the balls to bring their cars off the pavement. I mean, I that sounded really arrogant. I don't mean it to be. It's just, well, I don't know. I guess I'm not going to be a Sally about it. I guess I kind of mean what I said. I mean, I don't see anybody else that's really building off-highway vehicles to storm chasing and stuff. Maybe like Valcaster and some of those guys have, but you kind of need to have the appropriate vehicle because when it starts raining and getting wet out here, I guarantee you this is freaking nasty. But it might make for a really interesting live stream just to be able to get off of the beaten path, you know. But I mean, this could all be done in two-wheel drive easily until it gets wet. Once it gets wet, you're gonna have issues. But I don't think I would bring anything out here with a highway tire, wet or dry, because there's probably some rocks hiding in here. You can look on Radar Omega for the exact location. We're out here between Dumas and Amarillo. There's this little like recreation area or something. It's kind of cool. Just looking to see what it is, because like I said, I'm marking this thing on the map because there might be a time where, like I said, we want to come out here, especially, can you imagine at night? This would be great at night to come out here and watch lightning and everything. So, marking it down. Have to be careful out here, though, because if it starts, you know, monsoon raining out here, I have a feeling you could really end up in trouble. And we're struggling for signal. Yep, no, we're struggling for signal, guys. I'm sorry, nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. Middle of nowhere. Camera's bouncing around. Oh, shit. I'm gonna see if I can fix that damn camera here. Just hang on, guys. Give me a little bit of slack here. A little bit of slack. That camera's bouncing around an awful lot here. Let me see if I can... Oh, let me see if I can remedy that. It's because I don't have a nut on the bottom of the quarter 20 mount here, like I should. I just threaded it into the base, so I need to go get a tool or something to do that. Let me see if I can. Hold on, I think I got a way to rig this. Let me just use the old suction cup mount. Give me 1 second here. I think I can rig this arm into it. Yep, I can. Hold on. I don't know, this might be a little bit boxy, but oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This mount is effed for some reason.
I don't think so. I just rewound back in the stream a couple minutes, and it seems like when it switched cameras, it went off.
Okay, well, thank you for noticing. Just hit a button.
Okay, we have audio now.
Yeah, I just hit a button. I appreciate you noticing. But I was saying we can only go so far up this road because there gets to be a spot where it's apparently too thin to... There's like several people that have reported in... Because there's an app called Onyx for like this kind of stuff. And not just one person, but multiple people have reported that I guess it gets so thin or so narrow up here, you really can't. I mean, it said you can fit like a full-size truck or SUV or something through it, but it'd be real tough without scraping something up. And this might actually be that spot. I need the map. I don't know. Which way is what here? This might be that spot where it splits off, because I guess it said something about where it splits and everything. I don't have it on the map, but... Wait, this looks a little bit muddy. Nasty, and probably like something I'm not going to try to go through because I'm not stupid. Oh yeah, that's real muddy over there. Okay, let's try going around the other side. But we got KO2s on here, not a highway tire, so we do actually stand a chance, you know. Within reason, though, you don't want to be stupid. It's one thing if you're out here intending to be like doing off-road stuff, but it's also another thing when you're just screwing around and you've got other things to do during the day. Like if we get into a kind of a bind where I don't want to say we're stuck, but we're really kind of struggling a bit. Now we're eating up time that we got to go storm chasing and stuff. So we kind of got to be not stupid here. Yeah, this gets too narrow for me, I think. Oh yeah, I'll never get my truck. I actually could get up that. We absolutely could get up that, but I have a feeling it looks like it gets super narrow up there at the top, and I don't want to scratch my truck up. Same with right here. Like we can do that obstacle. That's not a big deal, but it's so narrow. We'll be scratching the hell out of the truck. And I'm not looking to scratch my truck up. Let me look at our mud hole here one more time, because I think this is the bypass around that stuff. The only problem is it is a mud pit. Yeah, we ain't gonna get around that. Oh, here come the weekenders. You gotta watch it a little bit out here with the OHV rentals and stuff. Like that one's a rental. Because a lot of these people, we're going to let them go through that because I don't want them anywhere near me. And it's no offense to anybody who rents side-by-sides. It's just, I really don't. I get very nervous around these people that rent these side-by-sides. And a lot of people in the Jeep community would agree. But a lot of them don't know what they're doing. It's just better to not be around. Hold on, my phone cooler's not attached. God damn it. We're just not doing good this morning. And again, it's nothing derogatory against the people that are renting the OHVs or in the side-by-side. It's just... you just never know. But let me look at that mud hole one more time, because we might actually be able to get through there. Because I think that's the bypass around for not cars, but vehicles that aren't side-by-sides or four-wheels. If I had a side-by-side out here, I could get through it. See, they're sitting over there waiting. They're hoping we're going to go through this first. They're hoping we'll go through it first. Let me walk this. This might not be that bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is the Karen of the side-by-side world right there. Oh my God. Wow. If I got stuck, who would I just won't get stuck. It's not a big deal, guys. No, this lady's like, do you know how to get through here? And I'm just like, yeah. And she's like, I think you gotta go over here. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's fine. She's like, this is your first time, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's definitely not my first time. She's like, well, it really looks like it. And I'm just like, okay, awesome. Well, have a good day. Like, you be that way then. God damn. Don't you freaking love that shit? It's like, Jesus. Looks like your first time. It's not. Trust me, lady, I think we've done a little more off-highway driving in our several vehicles throughout the years than you have in your rental side-by-side. Whatever, lady. Yeah, I'm not going through it. It's an absolute freaking mud hole up ahead. Absolute mud hole. Past that, it's even worse. So that's the difference in the between the Jeep community and like Colorado and like the side-by-side community in Texas and stuff. Like, I've noticed a little bit of like off-highway driving down here. Like, there's a lot of people that like come at you with a shitty attitude, whereas like when you're doing Jeep stuff in like Colorado and Utah, like everybody's friendly and they don't assume that you're an idiot just because you're just doing something different. Like, what I was doing was just walking to make sure that trail was going to be feasible or not feasible for us. And that lady like, well, it looks like your first time. Well, it's actually not. So, and I'm pretty sure that I've got more off-road experience than you do because you're in a rental side-by-side, but whatever. Okay, lady. But yeah, if it didn't rain last night, we wouldn't have had a problem with that. It's just a freaking mud hole. Oh, we got a crappy comment. Who is it? Oh, never mind. I just got caught in the spam filter. That one wasn't crappy. It was just a miscalculation of the filter or whatever. I'm honestly surprised there's not more traffic out here on Sunday. But yeah, for anybody who is looking to get into off-highway driving, if you get on any like Jeep or off-highway driving Facebook group or something, like this is the #1 complaint. Please, 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 and like this is like a golden rule when it comes to like Jeep and off-road and anything of the like. Please don't assume that people are stupid just because they are not driving what you're driving or whatever. Like, you know, I've witnessed where, you know, somebody's driving, you know, full-size, well, one time I was out in Utah, it was a full-size F350, and, well, it wasn't full-size, you know, it was like a 8-foot, well, no, it was like a 6.5-foot bed with the 4 doors, it was big, in Moab, and somebody came up and was all like, that vehicle ain't gonna fit, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you know what, it's really none of your business because you're not the one driving it. But long story short, this guy was like 75 years old and he's been out there like a million times with it. And I followed him around and we did like half the damn trails in freaking Moab. And he did them in his truck and we passed this guy on his stupid dirt bike like 10 times, so, or whatever the hell it was. So, you know, there's a lot of people when it comes to the off-highway vehicle thing where people want to tell you you're doing something wrong and they're going to stop you and interject their thoughts into what you're doing. And that's really frowned upon, like, heavily in like the Jeep community. You know, people come out on trails like this and experiment with different vehicles all the time, and sometimes they're not out here for the driving, they're out for the scenery and stuff. And like, it's a big no-no to just assume that somebody doesn't know what they're doing and interject your unnecessary thoughts unless it's like an emergency or a dire situation where, you know, somebody's about to run over a rock that's about to rip off their oil pan. Like, that would be an appropriate time to stop and wave them down and interject your thoughts. But to wave somebody down and tell them that they look like it's their first time doing this is not an appropriate time to interject your thoughts. That's how you get called a Karen. But yeah, I wish it didn't dump so much. I don't even think it really rained that much, but it did rain, and it wetted these down pretty good. See, you even got a guy out here in a freaking Volkswagen. This phone mount's about had it. I gotta go get a nut driver. My boots are also full of mud, so I think we're actually gonna go find a car wash as well, maybe up in Dumas, and hose this thing down. It's caked in mud from yesterday and dirt. Get my shoes washed off too. I wonder if this floods. Looks like we got a lot of runoff out here. Or a lot of runoff areas. Yeah, airing the tires down would definitely help. This is rough. I'm trying to go in places where it's less rough here. Doing pretty good for not putting much thought into it here. Oh my God. You hate to say, oh, Kelly says when she hates to say it, but when it comes to off-road driving, you're a joke. Okay, Kelly, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with the several 501c3 groups in Colorado that do volunteer off-road recovery and don't charge people. But from years 2015 through 2018, I spent 2 weeks at a time, 3 tours a year out here in purpose-built vehicles, usually purpose-built F-150s. One was a purpose-built XJ. Doing free off-road recovery, like winches off of shelf roads and cliffs and such, free at no cost to people that were in accidents or just got stuck. And there's multiple Colorado 4x4 groups that are doing this that are 501c3s. Colorado 4x4 off-road recovery, or whatever, to name one of them. So I think for you, Kelly, sorry, Karen, to come out here and tell me that I'm a joke, you're probably not, because I don't think you know my background. And if you're considering this off-road driving, you're an idiot for thinking that. I'm sorry, but if you're going to come in here and say that, then I get to call you an idiot. You're opening yourself up to it there, Karen. But you might want to check my background before you come out here and start telling me how to do my job. Because let me tell you something, nobody wants you here if you're going to bring that attitude around. So, have a good one. Dumbass. That's what I think of that. That was a troll account. Dang. She really meant that. Yeah, so like my favorite vehicle that I had that I had purpose built for like recovery stuff was a 2000 and was it a 4? Oh my God, I don't remember. 2005? It was a 2004 or 2005 F-150. It was silver and or gray or whatever, and it was just an XL with the short bed. But it had a 3.5 inch. I think it was a 3.5 inch lift. We put a 3.5 inch lift on it, and then put a full replacement bumper on the front, and just stuffed a 12,000 pound winch in there. And we're in a dead zone. And we put a full replacement bumper on the rear and stuffed a winch behind the license plate. Mounted the winch on a cross member between the frame rails that we put in there and welded. And then you could had the license plate bracket on like a hinge, and you could flip it down, and then you had access to the winch plate and all that. And that was pretty cool. I never did use the rear-facing winch at all, ever, not once. But it was cool, and it was a fun project. That was a pretty well-built truck. It was on 30, was it? It was 34 and a halves. Technically not a full 35. So what was it? 315, 70 somethings, you know, where it's not a true 35-inch tire. It's like a 34 and a half. That was a good truck. I should have kept that, but that thing ended up getting like 300,000 miles on it, and it got to the point where it's like I'm honestly afraid that it's going to have issues because it was starting to have problems. I dumped it, but I really shouldn't have dumped it. I should have kept it around. That was my favorite. I had an XJ as well, but that thing had lots of problems. I went through like 2 transfer cases on that, so like 3 total, but I put 2 in it. And we couldn't keep transfer cases in it. It kept going. Transfer cases kept going out. And I don't know if it's because we were getting shitty transfer cases, or if I should have just like looked into having it actually rebuilt. But the junkyard transfer cases kept going out, and no matter what we did, the transmission ran super hot. And I say we because, you know, there was a group of us that kind of messed around with our cars together, but could not get the transmission to run like it should. You know, you put it in, do any sort of off-road anything with it, and transmission temperature just went sky high, and don't know why. We had an aftermarket transmission temp probe in it and everything, and it just, I don't know what the deal was, but I don't know if it had torque converter was slipping or what, but it probably needed that. I don't know if it was killing the transfer case somehow, heat transfer into it or what, but we couldn't keep that thing together. That thing didn't last too long. I got rid of that pretty fast. The problem with those XJs is they're reliable and stuff, but they're not exactly comfortable, and they're kind of a pain. But they are reliable. They're just, it's just you're constantly fiddling with something. Tell you what, it is really pretty out here, though. Between Amarillo and Dumas, basically. I have to figure out where the hell the chase target's gonna be. Probably back up to the north. Probably find some tarantulas out here. I think the tarantula migration has started. But there's a bunch of these. These are all like campsites on the side of the road, so it's kind of cool. I don't know if you need some sort of stupid camping permit, which I think is ridiculous. Like, just another these like camp permits and stuff. In my opinion, about as stupid and worthless as a fishing license. Just the freaking government trying to make a bunch of money. I'm sorry, I disagree all you want. In my opinion, it's just ridiculous. We gotta stop putting fees and taxes on every goddamn thing a man wants to do. It's ridiculous. But I don't know if you need like some sort of camping permit to come out here or what. You might even need a permit to be on. I don't know if this is public land or parks land or what, but you can see about how concerned I am. So. entirely sure how you get the hell out of here, but this is a dang riverbed, ain't it? I'm confident this is a damn riverbed. Pretty cool. Call it fishing or something, I don't know. Yeah, the Starlink drops out under these bridges here. Dumpster divers over here. Wow. Let me take a look at the severe weather potential for today, so I know where the hell I'm going. Let's see here. Let me just look at the HRRR because I don't have a target today, because I need to know if we want to go south to Amarillo or north to Dumas. I'm thinking north to Dumas. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the live stream here. That was just for fun. I'm gonna go to Walmart and get a wrench to put on that nut so that phone mount is fixed, and then I'm gonna find a car wash and get these windows and stuff cleaned off. So that was kind of fun. I'll leave you there. We will be back later on today. Probably, I don't know, Northern Panhandle or something. All right, guys, I'll be back in a bit.